Morning, everybody. My name is Jared O'Leary. I've been drumming since 1998, and I still got plenty to work on. Today, I'm working out of a book. The book's called 50 Ways to Syncopation. I've got one more pattern I'm trying to graduate from this book out of the 50 ways that Don Moyle talks about how to work on limb independence with some like drum charts and whatnot. The way that I'm working on this is largely based off of Gary Chester's idea of limb interdependence, which he talks about in New Breed 1 and 2. Now, in all these hundreds of live streams, this is like office hours. I'm here to practice to get better at things that I'm not good at yet. I'm also here to answer some questions as people have some questions. Inside of all these hundreds of live streams, there are timestamps in the description to show what I was practicing or what I was talking about. Because I've been drumming for almost 30 years, and because I have a bachelor's, master's, and PhD in music education, people often ask me questions about how to get better at performing or how to get better at teaching. And I will often edit those answers and put them in this drumming tips playlist. There's over 15 hours of free drumming tips in here from questions people have asked. The first thing that I talk about is the title. So like what moves with traditional grip. And if it says and other drumming tips or and other teaching tips, that means there's more topics in there that aren't necessarily related to the first thing. So if you're not interested in what moves with traditional grip, there might be topics in there you aren't interested in. Now, there's over 2,000 free drumming videos on my YouTube channel's home tab, and there's just over 400 videos that are currently listed as members first. They're all scheduled to release for free. If you want the early access, just click the join button. It's 99 cents. It's the cheapest price I could possibly make it on YouTube. But again, they're all coming out for free. It just might be over a year from now. Like this one comes out on Friday, and there's a new play-along that releases every single day, so stay tuned for that. Now, I am not good at limb independence yet, so I've got Shia LaBeouf here to help me out. He's going to motivate me to get better, especially since I haven't practiced in a few days. Here we go. Shia, help me. Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success. Well, you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. Oops. Hit this boom. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Oh, wow, Shia LaBeouf. Everybody, super motivating now. Thank you so much. Good morning, X. How you doing on the vertical? All right, so what I'm practicing, like I said, is out of Don Moyle's book, 50 Ways to Syncopation. Now, what I've done is I've taken all 50 ways of Dom's, different ways to work on limb independence, and some extra bonus ones that I came up with, and put them in this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet keeps track of how am I doing on this. So the most basic like version of like a short long that you'll typically see is like a ding 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 pattern. So ding ding ding, and then you play short arts on the snare drum, so eighth notes. Let me switch over here. Etc. Okay, so the long notes, anything longer than an eighth note is going on the bass drum. How's the practicing going lately? I haven't practiced in like 5 days because I was hanging out with friends for the extended weekend. But otherwise, good. Thank you for asking. How's your practicing going? Now, across all the times that I played through this in the last like year or so, I've kept track of it. The starting BPM, what the quality of the playing was, and how I felt with it. All of the ones that on average are technically proficient, or even better than that, are musical. So like adding in different timbres and textures. I'm skipping all those. So column A keeps track of, on average, how I'm doing. So I've graduated from all of these that are technically proficient and musical. And the one that I need to work on, that I have not graduated from yet, is this one. So I've just pasted it on the screen. It's a Baião pattern. So the Baião foot pattern that I'm playing, I'm going to play it at 180. Woo. And the pattern that I'm doing is this. So the foot pattern for Baião, right, left, right, both. 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 So pattern number 37 is a Baião variation where you play bump, oh, bump, bump, oh, bump, to the 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1 on the ride pattern. Cool. And then you play the snare drum as the melody. But this one switches your hands. So the right is actually playing the melody. It's reading the charts. And the left hand is going to fill in with ghost notes on eighth notes. So you're playing da 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 do da 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 do. Etc. Okay? It gets wacky. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to practice it with the charts that are on my website. On my website, there's over 2,000 free exercises you can play along to. This is also on my home tab of YouTube. It's just, organized neater on my website. Wherever you want to go to. So there's 80 chop exercises. So you can work on like shopping sprees and stuff. I'll be doing that tomorrow. There's over 1,000 grid variations in here. Stick with rudiment on 1. Don't worry about the wacky stuff until you get rudiment on 1 down. So like flam drag on 1. There's almost 500 marching bass drum exercises. Almost misspoke there. Focus on the timing ones. There's some drumline cadences in the score format. There's almost 400 technique exercises. And I'm hoping by the end of like next week, there should be a bunch of sight reading exercises that'll pop up right here. So I'm still working on those. There's a ton of them. And then there's over 15 hours of drumming tips in here. So these are all the scripted drumming lessons, like how to hold traditional grip and whatnot. But this one, the drumming tips playlist, this is the one that has over 15 hours of tips in it. So there's a variety of questions that I've answered across all the few hundred streams that I've done. So check those out if you're interested in it. Now, in the limb independence section, every single one of these playlists links to this video, how to develop limb independence on the drum kit. So if you're not sure how to actually like get to be able to read charts like I'm about to do, this video will help out. So again, it's right here. It's the second video on every one of the playlists. Now, I haven't practiced in a few days, so we're just going to get started. That is not the resolution I would like. Boop. Okay, so in all of these thousands of play-alongs, you can jump to a specific BPM. They go up one click at a time. So, for example, if I want to play this at 183, I can click right there. If I want to play this at 228, I can click right there. And it'll just jump to whatever BPM. I'm playing this at 180. This is going to give me a few seconds to get myself set up. This is basically just like a buffer window for you. So you don't have to rush. Uh-oh. Oh, that's why. It's muted. It's like, I don't hear. Also, my mouse is sliding. Let me fix that, or it's going to be annoying. Okay, here we go. So again, Baião pattern of the feet, reading the melody in the right hand. The left hand is going to fill in right, left, both, right, left, both, with ghost notes on the snare drum. 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Right, left, both, right, left, both, right, left, both, right, left, both. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Thank you for the react. You can improvise here. Whatever you want to do. 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Left, both, right, left, both. Once you get this one down, it just like bops. It's such a good foot pattern. 1, 2, ready, and. 2, 1, 2, ready, and... I love that one. It's so much fun, right? It's great. At least once you get it down. When you're first learning it, it's like, ah! You know, that's the technical term for it. Ooh, look. So again, column A keeps track of how I'm doing on average across all of these. And this is the last one that I'm working out of Dom's book. That is not good enough yet. But with today, we just got it to technically proficient. So on average across all of these times, is technically proficient. Yay, we graduated. So that means next time when I play on the drum kit, I am going to skip this one. Because again, we're focusing on the stuff I'm not good at yet. So we've now gone through all of Dom's book, all 50 ways. And now the only ones that are left are these wacky ones that I just kind of made up. I'll paste it in here so you can get a preview while I do the stretch and massage routine. This one is... We'll see if I even remember how to do it. Test. Yay, it works again. So Streamlabs audio just like randomly crashes. It's great. It makes it so I have to have the monitor up, like the gain levels on the meter. And I like look over and I was like, cool, you can't hear what I'm saying. It's okay. It wasn't anything relevant. It just randomly mutes it. And what's annoying is like, if I'm like playing a game or something, like I still hear all of the audio and it sounds great. But on your end, it just like mutes it. Thanks, Streamlabs. You're doing great. Little buddy. All right, cool. So this was the last stretch that I was doing while I was waiting for the thing to reset. So it's just stretching the fingers. So now I'm going to massage real quick. So get thumb on top, fingers underneath. And thank you, Brian, for pointing out that it's muted. I genuinely have no clue when it happens unless I happen to look over at the meter. It's random. I wish there's like I wish it would mute my audio on my end, so then at least I could hear it. Hey, I can't hear my voice, or like, hey, I can't hear like the game I'm playing or whatever. It doesn't. It works great on my end. When should the drumline come in during a band performance? What do you mean by come in? Like, it depends on the show. So some shows you'll play on the downbeat. Some shows you like have the band play for like 20 measures and then you'll play. I've done a variety of different ones where it starts off with a bang, or sometimes it has like a slow build to it. Yeah, 100% depends on the show. If that's what you mean in terms of like when should they start playing during the band performance. Okay, so I'm massaging the palm and the hand. And now the last one, I'm going to massage the base of the tip of each one of the fingers. And then we'll get to the next chart, which is a tad bit difficult. 4/3 quarter notes. Or 3/4, rather. Man, okay, brain, you can do it. I believe in you. Tired from this weekend. Sleepy. Okay, so the pattern that I'm playing, it's written above me if you're there, and then if you're on the horizontal, it's the pattern that's right there. So what's happening is I'm playing, like if this is a quarter note, if this is 16th notes, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... Okay, so you're doing that. But what I'm doing, instead of playing it as 16th notes, I'm going to play it as triplets. Da 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 da. So it's the exact same rhythm in terms of what my hand mechanics are going to do. It's just instead of playing it as 16th notes with a downbeat like this. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a da 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 is what I'm going to do instead. Okay, so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the hi-hat on 2 and 4. While I read short long. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to read 8th notes, swung on the snare drum, and anything longer than an 8th note I'm going to put on the bass drum. Okay? And when I last played through this, I played it at 100, I think. Okay, so I'm going to do it at 110. Woo! Woo! Okay, so let me show you how to get to there from my home tab on my channel. So if we scroll down here, there's over 2,000 free exercises. So there's all the like chop stuff if you're a rudimental drummer like I am. Drum kit is just something I'm learning for fun. I'm not good at it yet, but there's over 1,000 grid variations here. This is where I'm practicing is the limb independent stuff. There's marching bass drum exercises. There's some cadences in score format, and there's a few hundred technique exercises, and then over 15 hours of drumming tips in here and some drumming lessons, etc. Now, if you click on like the header for these, it actually shows you all of the playlists. Otherwise, like this won't show you all the ones down here. So lots of stuff to work on your stick control, to work on rudiments, to work on your timing, your flams, accent taps, endurance and speed, whatever you want to work on. There's over 2,000 free exercises on there. And again, all the ones that say members first are coming out for free. So it just might be over a year from now because there's over 400 of them. So it'll come out. But if you want that early access, 99 cents. But again, you don't have to pay for my content. And none of it's going to be behind a paywall. I don't sell stuff like books or apps or courses. None of that. So we're playing at 110. Yikes. And I haven't played this in a few days. Whoa, why did it go to that video? Why'd you do that? YouTube? Are you sick? I'm not that kind of doctor. I can't help you with that. View playlist. There we go. Okay, so it like started playing this video for some reason. Okay, so we just did 1 through 5, so let's just go ahead and do 6 through 10. We'll just go to the next one. And we're doing it 110. So all of these thousands of play-alongs have timestamps, so you can go to whatever BPM you want. Since I'm doing it at 110, I'm going to say 110. And again, this is a very weird 3/4 quarter note feel. 2, 1, 2, ready, and so. So this is the ride pattern. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and... Whoops. Again, here's quarter note. Hi-hat on 2 and 4. Swung snare, 8th notes. Bass plays everything else. What's the most important thing for snares and tenors to focus on to blend with the rest of the ensemble? Let me think about it. 1, 2, ready, and... Part of that isn't up to the snares and tenors. Part of that is up to the drill design. So if you're like in the back of the field versus in front of the wind and brass, that's gonna really change how you play and how you sound. I guess one thing to consider is that the way it sounds to you as a performer is not the way that it sounds to the audience. So if you can like rotate out one person to go up into the stands to hear what it sounds like while everybody else plays. Hello, Kaylin. Okay, so let's talk about it a little more, I guess. So it's a really good question, Brian. It's very difficult for the drumline to be able to hear how they sound relative to the rest of the ensemble because they're hearing it from a performer standpoint in their little box of sound. Whereas what you want to be able to hear is like, how do we sound as a snare line, as a drum line, etc., with the rest of the ensemble from the judge's perspective, so like up top on the box. Now, part of it has to do with the drill design. So if the drill has the battery behind the winds and the brass, that's going to be very different in terms of how it sounds. And if they have the battery in front of the winds of the brass or blended in with the winds and the brass, etc. So where you are staged across the field is going to have a profound impact on how everything sounds. But one of the really valuable things that I had done as a performer is some of the staff would have me as the section leader, the center snare, etc., like go away from the drum line and go up into the box to hear how do we sound as an ensemble. And then that way I could go, oh, yeah, we are too loud there. Or, oh, yeah, we are too quiet there. We can bring up the volume, etc. Because I was a center snare, I set the heights, basically, and everybody else would listen into what I was doing and try and match the interpretation, the dynamics, etc. So one thing that you can do if you're trying to get it so that the battery understands how they fit with the rest of the ensembles, rotate out each one of the snare drummers, each one of the tenor drummers or bass drummers, etc. for each rep with the full ensemble, have them sit up in the box so they can hear, oh, that's what the snare line actually sounds up from way up here from the judge's perspective. And that provides context that the drumline instructor has that the students do not have. And then you can use this if you're a staff member as like a teachable moment to be like, okay, the instructions I'm giving you are from the perspective of up here on the box. It might sound different than it sounds to you where you're like, I don't feel like we're playing too loud. Yeah, but from up here it does. Or maybe vice versa if it's too quiet, etc. So this can be a good way to not only like teach students to hear how they sound with the rest of the ensemble, but to teach the students to trust the staff that they are hearing something that is different than you hear as a performer, which is why you'll often have staff up at the top on the box and staff that are down on the field that are like the techs providing more specific granular feedback on like the quality of the playing, etc. So you need to think of not just your ensemble, so like the snare line, but how that fits in with the rest of the drum line, but then how that drum line, the whole section fits in with the rest of the ensemble that you're performing with, whether it's just like the front ensemble or winds, brass, etc. So those are some little strategies that you can use both as a performer to get some perspective, to understand the context of how you fit in, but also as a staff member to be able to teach students to trust the staff that they're hearing some things that are different than a performer might hear. You won't be able to see me at 9 o'clock. Hey, no worries. No worries at all, Caleb. All of the streams are up, so you can always check it out after the fact. Anyways, okay, so the pattern that we just did, that was a good question, by the way, Brian. I appreciate it. The pattern that we just did, I feel like I need to play through it one more time. And so let's just go to the next set of charts. So we just did 6 through 10, so let's do 11 through 15. And I want to see how this sounds. We'll do it at 110. Excuse me, again. So click. Do, 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 do. So again, this is a 3/4 pattern in terms of like the quarter note feel. 1, 2, ready, and so 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, 1, 2. Thank you for the kind words. 2, 1, 2, here we go. What's the biggest challenge for a battery in a full DCI show or in a show in general? I don't know. Because it depends on like the show and the moment in the show. Sometimes it's the drill, sometimes it's where you're at on the field, sometimes it's like what you're playing, sometimes it's all of the above, sometimes it's how far you gotta move. It's all different. Gotta move the mouse. I was hitting it when I like messed up on that the ride pattern. Like my the bottom of my hand hit it. I'm always on that grind. Oh, 1, 2, oh, 1, 2. Wait till the next pattern. No. Screws me up when I talk. Okay, so like way better than it was a couple of weeks ago when we first started learning this. And for having not played in a few days, like I'll take it. It's mostly technically proficient. The times where I was messing up is if I was like talking or when I was like my hand hit the mouse and it like screwed me up. But otherwise, I'm making progress on it, so that's awesome. Progress, yay! Okay, so this next pattern. Ooh, this next pattern. I can't even play yet. So we're not gonna do the charts yet. Maybe we'll get to it eventually. probably in a couple of days, but not today. So the pattern is just like what we were doing with the that 3/4 feel for the quarter notes. But this one goes buckets, 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 buckets. So you're doing a soca with a hi-hat, which normally you do it like that. Okay, so quarter notes with a downbeat, boom, ga-doonga, buckets, 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 buckets. But this one is gonna go buckets, 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 buckets. Okay, so we're playing that pattern while reading through, right now, just permutations and eventually some charts. So, making progress? No. 100, that's the BPM. The BPM is not making progress. So I'm going to go back to the home tabs on my channel. And if I scroll down and I go into the limb independence section inside of here, I'm going to work on the permutations here and go through it. So I'm doing permutation 5. It's a longer permutation variation, but it's a good one because it just goes 1s and then 2s and 3s. You'll see here in a second. But before I forget, so I want to elaborate. So, Brian, yeah, it depends. Like, there's not like one thing that's like the hardest to work on as a drumline. It's totally dependent on the drill, the music, what the rest of the ensemble's playing. Like, how far apart are you from the rest of the section of like, is their bass line 5 yards away, or is it 30 yards away? Is the tenor line like in front of you, or are they behind you, etc.? So I don't really have an answer because it depends. It would be the answer basically. It's a good question though. It's a good thing to think through. It's something you can think through like every chunk of the show. Twos. Threes. me back this up. I want to be able to get these 7s down. So my like stick hit, and then it just like totally messed it up. Screwed up the ride pattern, or the hi-hat pattern. 3, 4. No, I keep hitting my stick. I wish I could move the hi-hat to here so it didn't have that overlap. But like playing it like this, I'm trying to do as like the stick over stick crossover, and it's just like sometimes hits it and just completely messes up my pattern. I can do it. 3, 4. Playing that straight hi-hat pattern over the swung snare. What do you do when the love for the activity feels overshadowed by pressure and competition? I kind of stepped away actively from the competitive side of things. So like this actually annoyed some of the drum lines that I worked with at the end. Because some of them felt like I wasn't supporting them. But I didn't go to the award ceremonies and stuff because I was there for the rehearsal, or I was there for the process, or I was there for performance. But I quite frankly didn't care what a judge had to say about it. So like, if we got like an 84 versus a 95, like don't care. What I care about is like, how did the students feel, after they came off the field? And like that for me is the most important thing. So I just kind of like stopped caring about the competitive side of things. Like again, the scores don't matter. The judge's commentary is just like one person's opinion of like how they performed on that one particular day. It's not necessarily like, well, the judge says this, so that means that this is what we always do. It's like, well, no, maybe you did on that moment, or maybe they misunderstood like how you're playing because they're like all the way at the top of the box, like trying to figure out what the technique looks like, whatever. So as I just like matured and was a part of the activity for so long, I just stopped caring about the competitive side of things. I just wasn't a thing. So like sometimes the groups that I work with, we just go and do exhibition only, and that was like a decision that like the students had a say in. So we like voted on it, like, do you want to go and get a score, or do you want to go and just perform? And there were times where we just went just to perform, and the judges would be like, why aren't you performing? You'd be first place. Or why aren't you competing? You'd be first place. And it was like, because we just wanted to make music. Like, is that such a foreign concept to you? And I say that, but it is. Like, for a lot of people, it's like, well, why wouldn't you want to get that trophy, that plaque to put on the wall? It's like, because that's not why we're doing it. Nothing wrong with that. Like, if that's what you want to do, and like that's what the drumline wants to do, as long as it's not just like the staff forcing it upon the students, then cool. And if you want to do the exhibition side of things, guess what? It's a lot cheaper. You don't have to pay for the like tapes and whatnot. The exhibition stuff was free, but like to compete, we had to like pay the entrance to get into it. So you do go through all the same motions, and you still get feedback from the judges, but because some of them gave us tapes, but yeah, you don't have to pay for it. So, in terms of like, if you are still in the competitive thing and like you don't have the ability to step away from that, just like focus on the process. How did you feel going into the performance? Do you feel like you, going into practicing, do you feel like you, gave it your all in terms of like you are thoroughly prepared, you did everything you could to improve in whatever time frame you had with the advantages that were provided to you, whether it's like early access to music or drums or whatever. And then when you come off the field, do you feel like you left it all on there? Like you gave it all. Like you have nothing in your tank. You gave absolutely everything mentally, physically, etc. Like if you can come off the field and like feel that way, then it doesn't matter what the judges will say, what your score is, or how you compare to other people. You're competing against people who may have some advantages over you. So I mentioned this in a drumming tips video, so let me show you what that looks like. So on the home tab of my YouTube, under the tips and lessons section, this drumming tips playlist has a ton of videos in here. But there's one, what's it called? No, not that. Nope, not that. Yeah, okay, so this one. So drumming tips number 7.2, why marching band isn't fair and how college creates bad music educators. So the first thing that this one talks about is some of the unfair advantages that some of the schools are going to have. And so this is like actually research based. This is not just me making up stuff. So I talk about at the beginning of this video how you'll notice a cluster of like at BOA Grand Nationals, which is like the biggest high school like marching band competition. You'll notice that there's like this giant cluster right here of schools that are participating. And does that mean that all the best schools in the country are from this area? Well, no. Actually, there are some phenomenal schools in California, but why are none of them competing in BOA Grand Nationals? And so in the video, I elaborate on the research that's like actually behind being able to predict marching band scores without actually hearing them perform. And so there are these non-performance related correlates that will predict, such as proximity to the competition. So the schools that are competing here, guess where the final performance is? It's right in here. So all these schools that are really close nearby that can literally just drive to the performance site, they're not having to pay to fly out like 100, 200 people in their marching band to go over here. So let's say there's 100 people in your marching band and it costs an average of like $1,000 for each one of the students. So 100 students times $1,000, and that's just for travel. Imagine if instead of having to spend all that money on the travel to go from California, or even worse, like Hawaii or something, all the way to right here, if instead of paying all that travel fees, all that money could have gone to higher paid staff members and having like private lessons for free for students. This is all things that a lot of these schools in like Texas and Indiana, et cetera, are able to do if they're in the BOA competitive circuit, because they don't have to pay for all that travel fees. So the closer you are to the site, that's one of the bigger predictors of how you're going to perform, because you can focus more on paying more for your design team, paying more for your instructional staff, etc. So if you think that this is like 100% fair thing, there's actually research that says that it's not. There's a lot of advantages that other schools are going to have over what you will have with your school, and vice versa. Like there are some schools that start learning their music in January for their fall show. And there are some schools that start learning their drill in the spring for their fall show. And then the other schools, like the ones that I worked at, where they didn't get their music until like the end of summer and like the start of the fall, or their drill, etc. So there are some schools that have middle school marching bands. My schools that I taught at and that I marched with did not have that opportunity. So some schools have drumline where the members have only been able to play for 3 years because they're a sophomore, junior, and senior high school. The freshmen don't actually go to that school. They go to the middle school still. That's how some schools are set up. So they only have 3 years to be able to get really good. And then there are other schools where they have not only 4 years in high school, but they also have 3 years in middle school. And then sometimes even before that, they might have like percussion ensembles and stuff that they're able to do in elementary schools. So they might have like 7-ish years compared to 3 years. So like there's some other forms of disadvantages that some schools are going to have. So this video, again, drumming tips number 72, it elaborates on some of the scholarship that's out there on just why it's inherently an unfair activity. And so if you're focusing on like, well, their score is better than our score, I mean, there might be reasons 100% outside of your control for why that is the case. And so for me, having read this scholarship on this, or at least some of it, and having participated in the activity so much, I don't really care about the competitive side anymore. I just want people, the students that I work with, to like come off the field and go, yeah, we made a lot of progress this season and we left it all on the field. Like we did everything we could to get better. And whether or not that puts us in first place or last place, what ultimately matters is like, how do you feel coming off that field? Like, did you make progress on that? Granted, that's easier said than done, but that's what I strive for. That's what I encourage students to strive for as well. But not to get too academic, but I don't want to have like a axiological colonization, which is like me trying to force my values onto the students that I work with. So if some of them were very competitive, they want to be competitive, cool, you can focus on the scores. We're going to score well because we work hard. But for me, that was not what I focused on. And, you know, to each their own. But let's try. So we're just playing through the limit independence variation 5, the permutation that's under here. And what I want to actually do is I want to play through just the ones with the foot. And you're like, what? So the pattern that I'm playing, the short notes, the 8th notes are being played on the snare. So there's not going to be like any doubles or anything like that back to back on the foot. So what I want to be able to make sure that I can do is play through this with just the foot on the ones section, those 2 lines right there. Oh, that was weird. Ah. Okay, so let's do that again. I'm just going to rewind it. So again, trying to get that foot to be independent from what this 3/4 hi-hat pattern is playing. 1, 2, ready, and bucket. Okay, so way better. Cool. All right, so now what I'm going to do, we've finally been able to get through variation 5. Whew. Okay, so I'm going to go back, and we're going to start with variation 1 now. So 5 is the longest one. And all these other ones are much shorter. But they include the long notes, so quarter notes, as well as the 8th notes in here. So again, the 8th notes I'm going to play on the snare drum. Anything longer than an 8th note, I'll play on the bass drum. So we're going to do this pattern. Wish me luck with it. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. So let me grind it out real quick with my metronomes. Let me turn it on. Not at 105, silly. Or 175 rather. 175 is a bit brisk for something I'm learning. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep looping each measure. Wait. No, that's not right. Okay, so it's on the downbeat. So it's a 3/4, so it's on the downbeat of the 3 over the 4. You know what I mean? Maybe. The start of the hi-hat groove, basically. The Soca. Okay. Whew. Okay, so this one. This goes in between the 3 notes. Do do da. and then on the second note of it. Whew, that's weird. So triplet snare hit. Hey, thank you for signing up for the membership, Brian. Appreciate you. Gives you over 400 videos, early access to it, and then some fun emotes. So here we got. So boom, but it's on the second note of the triplet. Whew, with a bass drum. Except it's with the foot, not the hi-hat. Or the snare drum. I know my instruments. It's questionable. Whew. Your stuff is super helpful. You figure subscribing to your membership is the least you can do to support you. Hey, I appreciate it, Brian. Yeah, it's 100% optional. So, again, all my content will come out for free. It might be over 400 days from now, but it'll come out. So, I do appreciate it. If you want to support for free, just share this content with another drummer. Share it with a flautist. Be like, my instrument's better than yours. Just kidding. Don't do that. Alright, so the last measure of the ones. No. Is that right? Yeah. So da 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 da. Ugh. Whew. This is gonna melt my brain going through this. Okay, so let's try the ones. 1, 2, and again. No. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna actually attempt 2 measures each. 1, 2, here we go. Sort of. Okay, let's try the 2s. Flawless. Yeah. Okay, so first note of the triplet, last note of the triplet, second note of the triplet, first note of the triplet. Whew. Okay. Okay. Nope. You can do it. Believe in yourself. Just do it. No. Da da da. There we go. It's so weird. Okay, triplet. Okay, so release. In between the triplets. On the bass drum. Triplet, right here. Triplet. So triplet. Whew, okay. 2, ready, and... Flawless. Okay, so the first part's relatively easy. It's on the release with the shup for the snare drum, and then the bass drum just goes in between the shups. Yeah, I say it's easy and then I screwed up. That's how that works. Karma. Okay, so that's the first half. So what's the second half? 1. Okay. Oh, that's so weird. 2, ready, and... Ugh. Okay. Come on, Braden, you can do it. How do you train rudimental drumming even though I don't have a pad and sticks? You just want to try the funny emoji? Yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's some goofy ones in there. So there's a video under the home tab that talks about how you can do that. So if you scroll down, whee, all the way into the drumming lessons one. So this one has, where is it at? This one, how to practice drums quietly. It's got some suggestions in there. So I talk about like using a doorknob for if you do traditional grip, that rotary motion. Using a doorknob with some resistance on it can make it so you can actually like work on your endurance and your speed a little bit. You can also just practice with your wrist. So like I would frequently just like practice on my chest. You can also practice with your sticks on your forearms. If you do traditional grip, you do it this way, like this. It doesn't feel good, so don't play hard. You can practice just knocking on a door or knocking on like a table, etc., on your legs. You can also do mental practice, and I've got a video on that. So the how to get better on drums without drumming, that one is a kind of a goofy one that talks about, it's a goofy video, but it's like a serious topic. So like actually has advice on there, but I just basically take this video, this this image from my profile and just put it on a bunch of AI generated images. But the things that I'm talking about is actually like based on research, despite the fact that like it's kind of a goofy looking video. Like this one is probably my favorite one. Not that one. Where is it? The one where it adds in like hair. And the music is just like, what? Anyways, so that one talks about how you can mentally practice, called mental imagery. So even though it's a weird looking video because of how I chose to do it, it's actually worth listening to. But those are some ways that you can practice without actually like playing with sticks and whatnot. Okay. Back here. This is melting my brain. And no, we're not playing at 181. We're playing it at 100. It just says 181 at the top, but... Okay, so the two patterns... Okay, so in between the triplets, second note of the triplet. Second note of the triplet, in between the triplets. So it's kind of the opposite. No, that's not it. Hope so I don't hit my stick. Keep wanting to close this off instead of swinging it. Trying to make it shorter. Okay, so let's go one note at a time. Adding in. Ready, and first note. Next note. Next note. Okay, you can do it, brain. All right, so next one. Oh my goodness. It's like such an easy rhythm to play between like the snare and the bass, but playing that 3/4 Soca is just, oh, it's melting my brain. Okay, this will be so cool in like a week or two. Until then. Okay, so the next pattern, I'm going like one note at a time and kind of like expanding the scope, is making it a little bit better, but eventually I want to be able to actually just read through it. We're not there yet. So measure 2 I was able to get fairly quickly, but this third measure is weird. Okay, we can do it. To try it again. Whew. Okay. Let's start from the beginning, and let me see if I can just loop each measure until it sounds okay, and then I'll go on to the next one. What I think separates a good line from an unforgettable one? The consistency of sound across each one of the players. I had the privilege of watching 2004 Vanguard in the lot when they won high drums with Murray Gussick as the caption head. Actually, Jim Cassell, I think, was technically the caption head, but Murray Gussick was in charge of the battery. And the consistency of sound that ensemble had was absurd. Same thing with like Boston this year. Watching them in the lot in Arizona for that show, like the unisons and the basses are just, I can't describe how consistent it sounded across all of the bass drummers or even the snares, the tenors, etc. Like they were all just super consistent with the velocity, with the touch, everything about it. It's super cool. Like there's one thing to play clean, but there's another thing to like take to that next level, which is like every little detail. It's just like chef's kiss. Mwah. All right, let's loop each measure. Nope. There we go. Nope. It's on the second note, right? There we go. Okay, let's try the twos. No! No? Hey, Brian, you're very welcome. I appreciate your awesome questions. You're asking me questions that other people don't ask, so it makes me think of new things. So I really appreciate that. And again, thank you for signing up for the membership. I hope you're able to enjoy all the early access to those hundreds of videos. I can play in time sometimes. There we go. This is the threes. The fourth measure of the threes. Let me try that again. Ready? And... okay. Let me stop my metronome. Man, this one is messing with my brain. I love it. Okay, so honestly, like having not played in 5 days or something, better than I thought I was gonna go. So we'll keep grinding this one out. But overall, still with this one, it's 100 and needs a lot of work. So this one's gonna take a while to get through, but I'm making progress on it. We were working on variation 1 rather than just variation 5 today. So yay! So we officially have graduated from all of Dom's book, which is great. So next time when I practice, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind out these two that I'm not able to do yet, the ones that need a lot of work. And then I'm going to go back and review. So there's the 50 ways that Dom talks about in his book, 50 Ways of Syncopation to Work on Limb Independence. And then there's the variations like the 12.1. That's like a variation that I kind of came up with, etc. You're my biggest supporter. Hey, I appreciate it, Caleb. Thank you. But yeah, so we will continue to go through this stuff. It's difficult, but it's fun. I enjoy how it like tingles the brain in a unique way. It tickles it. Trying to work on this stuff. So if you were like, cool, I want to work on limb independence as well. If you go to the home tab, there's thousands of videos on here, but the limb independence section, every single one of these playlists has the second video as the video for how to develop limb independence. So if you're like, how do I do that? Check out that video. The ones that I'm playing right now are not where I'd recommend starting. They are very difficult. But then if you want more drumming tips and lessons and whatnot, the tips and lessons has over 15 hours of responses to questions that I've been asked across the different streams, just in this playlist alone. And then there's some scripted lessons. No gaming stream today, because I'm waiting until Silk Song comes out. I think in a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, something like that. So stay tuned for that. But I'm going to go and work on creating some more drumming content. And we'll be back on tomorrow working on a shopping spree. I think it's the Freelancers, Sacramento Freelancers 2000 spree. Is that what it is? Yeah, so that one is the one that I'll go through tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. But if you enjoy any of these thousands of free resources, just share it with somebody else, whether you share the home tab of YouTube or the first link that's at the top of each one of the play-alongs. This one links you to my website, and it's got everything organized neater than I can on YouTube. So just check that out if you're interested in it. So all the chop stuff, the grid stuff, the limb independence, marching bass, cadences, technique, and then the over 15 hours of drumming tips and whatnot. So check it out and share it with somebody who might find it of value. But I'm going to call it here. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. I appreciate you all. And yeah, goodbye.